Google My Business basics to get more local agency business. We all good?
Yep, we're good.
I'm not used to a Zoom meeting. This is different. Okay.
Hey, Mike, since you have a slide deck on this one, you're going to send this to us?
Yes, I will be more than glad to send you a slide deck. And in fact, after we're done with this, I'm going to go ahead and send you guys some extensive keyword research. After we get talking about this a little bit, you'll understand what I mean.
Cool.
It's more of a specific keyword research to focus after GMB. There's some. GMB is obviously a SERP feature, and focusing in on that SERP feature, going after particular keywords that are revealed in that SERP feature, I think make a big difference in the way that you pursue it. So let's just roll right into it. So let's talk about the local search real estate here for a second.
Hey, real quick,
That.
Ken, actually,
Yep.
Before you get into all that, I know some of these guys have met you, but not everybody has.
So, you want me to? Not everybody. All right.
Not
so
everybody's actually met you. So give a little intro into you and your background and all that good stuff.
Sure. So my name's Ken Knorr. I am a Star Trek fan. I don't know anything about digital marketing at all. I just started with that company about 2 weeks ago.
Oh my Lord.
They asked me to teach this class, so I'm gonna do my best.
Awesome.
You
Thanks,
can't see my video right now. I'm laughing. No, I'm the CEO and founder of that company. A little bit of background about me, the stuff that really matters. I've been married for 31 years. I have two really good kids that are no longer kids anymore. I wish sometimes they were, because I miss that time. If you have kids or you're going to have kids, enjoy every moment that you can while they are kids. Mike, you obviously know. You may know my daughter, Loren. And then I have a bunch of other kids that work in our office, and I mean that in all sincerity, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. They're all family members. We started in 2007. By 2010, Inc. magazine ranked us number 183 of the top 500 fastest growing companies in the United States, which was really cool. We pivoted to, you know about that company, so that's me. I guess if I give you a search engine background, you want me to give that story, Mike? I lost Mike.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yes, go for it.
All right, so my search engine background goes back a number of years. In a previous life, I've been an IT guy all my life, in the computers, and in a previous life, like I say, I was an IT manager for a real estate company. And at the time, the owner said to me, it was a retirement community developer. And the owner said to me, we need to figure out this Google thing. And Google had just started. I started with them in 1999, and Google was brand new. And they said, we need to figure out this Google thing. And I said, why? Old people, they don't use computers. We were a retirement community developer. And he said to me, no, you don't understand. The people that are buying our custom homes, they're, $250,000 to $500,000. They're white collar workers in northern states, and here we are in Florida, and they're going to be right now sitting behind a computer. They haven't retired yet, but they're sitting behind a computer screen at that time, which is CRTs, and they're going to do the research on how to retire in Florida from their computer, and they're going to make decisions about places that they're going to visit long before they get here. And if we can figure out this Google thing, I think it'll be a big deal. When I joined that little home building company, they were building about 50 homes a year. When I left the home building company to start this company, we were building 1,000 homes a year. 34,000 leads annually were being generated across the internet. I could prove factually with data that 75% of our new home sales were coming from first contact through the internet. We we went from being a non-existent, small home builder to a major player in the Central Florida market. And that was all generated through search engine optimization at that time. And so the story is this. I was trying to figure out how to reverse engineer it. And you may recall a wardrobe malfunction that happened. This probably a couple of you were kids. I know Mike was. And it was a Super Bowl event with Janet Jackson. Anyway, that we had been doing a lot of testing, and I've been reverse engineering Google for a while, trying to figure out how their algorithms functioned and worked. And so that Sunday evening after that, I called a group of colleagues. I said, I think this is our moment. We could prove proof of concept, really easy. Let's do this. And we did. So Monday morning, we wake up and KenNor.com, my personal website, ranks #1 when you did a search on Google for Janet Jackson's breast. More importantly, I ranked #4 for Super Bowl halftime show, which I was really cool about. At the time, I was using an internet service provider to serve up my website. It was called Sundial. Literally, they provide dial-up internet services, and they had a T1 line, which was big in those days. And they called me up about 10:30 in the morning and said, we have to shut your website down. I said, well, why? You're burying us. We're getting so much traffic. You're killing our pipe. And so they shut me down, which was kind of cool. But from that moment on, we kind of realized we figured it out. And so I turned back to who I was working for at the time, and we went and took the #1 ranking for Florida retirement communities. And that was the beginning of major growth for them. And then in 2007, I decided to hang out my own shingle and start an internet marketing firm. And at the time, we decided to focus on home building companies, which is why the legacy of, if you look at our agreements with you, are written in Buildtelligence. So the company name was Buildtelligence Web Solutions, still is. Nobody could spell it. Nobody could pronounce it. Everybody wanted to call it Build Intelligence. And nobody could ever spell it right, which is why we decided to rebrand to that company. It's not very hard to spell that one, and not very hard to remember. But that was the kind of the beginning story of how I got into search, and still am to this day. We still do a lot of reverse engineering. In fact, I'm happy to say that, at one point in time, we were kind of the first to figure out and completely unravel Rank Zero, the featured snippet. One of my guys that spent a lot of time in actually walking through Google patents to understand how they were doing it, and then we proved it. We went out and absolutely proved that we understood how the featured snippet was being built, and we're able to dominate in the featured snippet space for a long time. So anyway, there you go. That's a little history of me. Any other questions or anything you want to know about me before I launch off into this local search stuff?
Yeah, tell them about your chef background. Only
No.
only joking. Go ahead.
Previous life. No, man. No. That's why I'm a fat guy. Because I know how to cook. I get a lot of pleasure out of that still, man. And but your ragu is the bomb, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Ken.
That's for real.
Good.
Still,
I'm glad you like the rice bowls.
I can still feel it, man. It's some weighty stuff.
Well, hey, I cook as a hobby too. If you follow me on social media, you see every other post is about cooking. So
Absolutely. If you follow me on social media, at least on Facebook, you'll find nothing. No, it's funny. I run an internet marketing firm, but I do very little on social media. That's just how it is. All right, let me kick off. Anything else? Any other questions? I will kill my video, so I'm transporting traffic here. I think my video's already down, isn't it? Yeah, my video's down. Okay. So let's talk about the local search real estate. And what I mean by real estate is obviously not what we buy and build houses on. It's what we buy and build search results on. And the real estate, and this is why local is so important. And I may be telling you something you already know, but why not? Let's just look at it again. So you should be seeing a search result now where I did a search for Orlando Digital Marketing Agency. Everybody seeing that okay? So
Yep,
let's
that's good.
good. So let's and I'll quit asking once I know that everybody's really seeing it. So let's look at the real estate. And by real estate, I'm talking about the physical screen space that's being taken up here. Obviously, you know, over on this right-hand side is a bunch of white space. It's really smart by Google. I mean, I remember the days when there used to be a couple of ads at the top, and then we had 10 ads down the side, which meant that we had maybe 2 or 3 ads at the top. So we had 13 positions for advertising in almost every search result. That's not what we have anymore. Google switched the real estate on us and rearranged the way that the screen is laid out, much to their profitable direction. Has absolutely increased their profitability because there's just supply and demand. If there's less supply and the demand stays the same, then what do you end up with? You end up with rising prices. And so the ad space has been reduced significantly in this real estate layout. But in the next thing we see in the screen, and it's even more dominant when we look at it in mobile. If we look at this in mobile, it becomes even more apparent that the Google local piece here is incredibly important for any local business. And so the next piece we get is a map pack. This is in desktop, but in mobile, it's even more, like I said, more prominent. But I want to point out something to you. There's an ad spot here that shows up in this as well. And then we get 3, actual map pack results. And then we go below that, we get into the organics. And then finally, maybe down at the end, we might have, 3 more ads. So at the top, we have 2 ads. At the bottom, we have 3 ads. That's a total of 5, plus the one that's in that Google local spot there makes a total of 6 ads. Well, there used to be 13, so we have a 50% plus reduction in ad space. That is why Google's profitability is where it is. But let's talk about that ad space for a minute. And notice that we have, so in Google Local, we literally have an opportunity using local map packs to appear 4 times in this page, 4 times. And I can't tell you how important that is. So from an advertising perspective, as well as an organic perspective. So we can show up twice in ads, and we can show up twice organically, which is, we see this right here, this guy, Digital Space Marketing, right? Well, Digital Space Marketing also happens to have an ad in the local pack. They could have a result showing up in this local if they were strong enough to show up in the local, and they could show up inside of the organics down below. It's rare to see somebody dominate that well, but it happens, and it absolutely can happen. Back in the day, we used to talk about when we talk, and still can talk about it, that being able to repeat a message or being seen more than one time in any search result will increase your click-through rates, period, across the board. It'll increase your organic click-through rates. It'll increase your paid click-through rates because we're being seen more often. Our message is being seen more often. We're seen as more authoritative in the eyes of the searcher. And so that's just an interesting little piece about the real estate that we want to look at, is that we can show up multiple times. But we're going to focus today, and what I'm going to try to focus today on is the organic portion of it, which specifically I want to talk about what it takes to show up inside this map pack and why it's so damn important when we show up inside this map pack. Because, by the way, when we talk about looking at this on mobile, people will skip past ads. We know that, right? Or at least that's what we think. It's amazing how many people click on it. But this is such a prominent feature in the real estate of the search result. And in mobile, it's even more prominent, like I said, before I even get to the organics. So today, ranking in the organics in a local search is not nearly as important as it is to be inside this map pack and what we need to do inside this map pack. So I want to show a couple of different things that you can see right off the bat in this map pack that I've done. And I just did this randomly. I did not go out here and go hunting for this. I just searched for a thing. And matter of fact, if I were to hit my back button, you would find, or hold on this, you'd find that I was looking for pizza prior to this, and before that I was in our company status panel. So this was like not a planned search. I didn't go out there and hunt this down so I could show you this to you. This is truly a random thing, and I want to show you 2 pieces. One, right here underneath the first one, their website mentions digital marketing agency. This one right here, they cover print design, marketing design material. Does anybody know where that came from? Anybody want to volunteer a guess of where that came from? From that little icon, can you tell?
A review?
It did. It came from a review. It possibly would have come from a Q&A as well. It can come from both, okay? but that came from a review. So let me talk about, and we're going to move into the importance of this real estate. This is really important. This real estate is just massively important, not only to you as an agency, but to customers that are local customers. So let me jump back into my deck here. And so why local search is so important, which I just explained. Why it's easier to gain a foothold here. It is easier to gain a foothold here than it is to gain an organic foothold. And I'm going to show you throughout the course of this how much easier it is to actually show up in local search results than it is to show up in the organic results down below it, which take a lot of website development and web optimization to pull off. But we don't have to do all of that if we want to show up in the local pack. And I'm going to show you ways to deal with that. And then finally, not finally, but two things I'm going to say, which is do as I say, not as I do. Why am I saying that? Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Because if you go and look at my local pack, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to see that I'm not doing the things that I'm about to explain to you. Why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, we're pursuing very much a national footprint. And so I'm going to tell you that I was not and do not pursue getting business locally at all. None, zero, zilch. If I tried to survive on the business in my locality, as Brandon will tell you, it probably would not do real well for me. But that doesn't mean that if in your space that's not what you should do. And I think actually a lot of our agencies should try to dominate their local space rather than try to dominate in the national space. When I started in 2007, we were blessed to be able to pick up a couple of properties right out of the gate and acquire some companies that gave us immediate national presence that we were able to then leverage. If I were to start today and I did not have those properties, I would be going after a local footprint. There's no doubt about it. I would absolutely pursue a local footprint and then pursue the national. But in reverse now, I do not want to associate our web properties or our websites with a local presence. I just don't. I don't really want Google to make me or see us as a local company. And then the last thing that I want to give you in this first screen is a word of warning, a word of caution. And that is, it is tempting, super tempting to hack this, to black hat this, to cheat this, to skip and go around corners. And I can show you plenty of ways to do that. But here's my word of warning. It's also in all of the places in Google. We talked about, thanks Google for recognizing that I'm talking about you. We can talk about all of the different places that you can get penalized in Google, and you can pick up a penalty, on your website or whatever. It is very, 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 very easy. Let me add another very, very easy to get penalized in local. Very easy to get penalized in local. And it's not worth it. I say it's not worth it because it's so easy to do it right and get it right that there's almost no reason to cheat it. And if you are going to cheat it, you're playing with some fire that is very hard to come back from. If this is your business, this is your business name, you do not want to screw your Google local. Just don't do it. And so, we kind of take an SEO oath to our customers, kind of like a doctor does with the Hippocratic Oath, which is do no harm. And so I caution you, do not hack Google Local. It's not worth it. It's not worth the penalty that you get, and coming back from it can be a pain. And by the way, right now, if you have a penalty on your Google Local, good luck on getting that at the moment, because right now, GMB is support from Google is shut down. Being able to appeal anything inside GMB is a problem. I've got customers right now, we're working for white labels that have 5 listings. And because they had 5 listings, they got caught, they got penalized, and they've been completely removed from Google Local. And I can't get them back right now. There is nothing but a human intervention that can get it. I have to go through an appeal process, and it's a nightmare. It is your business. It is your business's name. Don't screw with this one. There's plenty of things.
What do you mean when you say? What do you mean when you say do not pack it?
Hack it, yeah. So if you so there's white hat and there's black hat ways of doing this, and one of the ways, let me just give you an example, which I'm about to show you on my next screen. This is the golden triangle of Google local search. Okay, 3 pieces that really tie into the algorithm: proximity, relevance, and popularity. One of the easiest hacks to do out there is to go by reviews. That is a hack. Okay, and what I mean is by doing this not the appropriate way. by buying your way into certain things, or what I mean by hack is not naturally growing it. Okay, that's what I mean. Is there? And I could give you a lot of other examples of how to hack. By the way, Google Local has a lot of problems. GMB has a lot of problems and a lot of loose ends. Because there's so many of them out here, Google can't have an approval process. It's just not possible. It's not physically possible for them to have an approval process. So they let you create your own, and it'll get approved. But then you'll find people out there that are like local guides, like me. I'm a level 7 local guide, right? And I get surveyed all the time when I like to answer questions, and it'll go, does this business really exist? And if I say no, that business does not really exist, because it doesn't, I've noticed, that I have a manufacturer sitting in a real estate, in a local community, and they're showing that they, it's bull crap. It's not, or an AC company that's not really operating from there. It's not really an AC company or whatever. If I answer no, and I'm not going to say that my one answer is enough, but if they get a couple of no's, they will ban that listing. That'll just be gone. So they crowdsource the patrolling of this, and they also make it very easy for people to submit complaints about the fact that this is a bullshit listing, that this is a fake listing, and that's why it's so easy to get banned in here. Is that it's not Google that's going to catch you; it's going to be a lot of other people that are going to catch you. All right. Competitors, if you're out there looking at a competitor and you see reviews in there that you think are not real and you think that they're stacking the deck, turn them in. Trust me, if you're doing it, somebody's going to turn you in. So that's how this whole thing works. It works by self-policing, and it works by community policing, and that's why it's so easy to screw it up. Does that make sense? Did that help answer your question? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
thanks.
Excellent. So here's the golden triangle. These are the 3 big pieces of the algorithm that play into how you do well in Google Local. It's I got to obviously shut my microphone on my phone because I keep saying the word Google and my phone keeps trying to beep like it's searching for me. It's listening. The golden triangle, proximity, relevance, and popularity. And we're going to talk about all 3 of them. You don't usually have control over one of them. The other 2 you've got control and influence on. When we're talking about customers, we have influence on one of them. We don't necessarily have control. But in short, proximity is where you're located, right? So the physical address of who you are and where you are. And most of our clients and most of us can't just hop up and move or open more locations. The second is relevance, and that's whether or not Google associates the various different keywords that we're trying to attract customers with to being us. And the third is popularity. Popularity is the quantity and quality of reviews. And so that's the magic 3 pieces and the dials we can twist to get to show up. Much like we talk about for regular SEO, CTA, the call to action to search engine optimization, is content, technology, and authority. And if we can overpower it with one and actually show up, but it's much better to have a kind of a blend where we're strong in all areas and then we show up more consistently. So let's talk about proximity, relevance, and popularity. Proximity, we have little or to no control over unless we're going to fake the system and open up results in places where we don't have them or addresses in which we don't have them. And I am not recommending you do that. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that, but I am going to spend a lot of time talking about relevance. We have lots of control here. NAP, citations, GMB posts, GMB images, Q&As, and review responses all tie into our relevance. And I'm going to dive each one of those individually here, and I'm going to try to crush through it as quickly as I can because I'm burning time. Last is popularity, the quality of reviews and the quantity of did I write quality? But quantity and quality twice, or quantity of reviews and quality of reviews. So let's go back real quick, just for a minute, and look at this search. So now I didn't do this search, by the way, from within the geography, which changes it subtly, because the way that I did this search, let me back in, there we go. So the way I did the search was I put a geo qualifier into it. So I said Orlando digital marketing, because I am not in Orlando right now. So I wanted to get a GMB pack by putting a geo qualifier in it. But let's look at the results I got back other than the ad. So let's skip the ad. That person bought their way into that, right? So Chatterbuzz. What is the first thing that I see? Chatterbuzz has 12 reviews or 21 reviews, followed by 12 reviews, followed by 11 reviews. Do you see how right there, just right out of the gate, how popularity is already playing into the pick? Right? We see it? Yeah, it's pretty obvious. And you can repeat and show this all the time. Now, that's what I did with the geo qualifier, which meant that Google didn't know exactly where I was located. Now, if I was actually doing this from my mobile phone in Orlando, proximity would become a big player. It would say, well, the one that's closest to me might be the one you're actually looking for. Like when the search I did before this, which is when I did a search for pizza. So when I pull this pizza search, this is me locally, it goes, where am I located? And notice that it gave me one here, 7.2 miles away. Then it gave me one 8.2 miles away. And then it gave me one that's 7.2. This is a split, right? But what did it do? 158 reviews, 119 reviews. You see how the difference is playing out here as to what it wants to show me? Proximity matters. Which one's closest? Now, if I start driving proximity way up, like I'm literally on top of these, if I'm 50 feet away from it, guarantee it's going to be in the #1 spot. Doesn't matter what the reviews look like. If I'm 50 feet away from it, it's going to give me the #1 spot because it thinks that if I'm on mobile, especially, that I am looking for something that's 50 feet away from me, that I am trying to find something that's very close to me. So proximity plays, and it plays big time. Relevance is the next, reviews is the next, okay? So relevance, and we're going to go into this NAP citations, TMB posts, TMB images, Q&As, da-da-da-da. So first things first, let's talk about NAP. What is NAP and why is it important? So NAP stands for name, address, and phone number. I'm going to breeze through this. If you need to interrupt me, just somebody. I'm looking at my screen, not looking over on my third screen where all of you are at. But Mike, if you can watch, if somebody wants to interrupt me, please just interrupt me and I'll stop. I'll answer a question any period along the way here. So name, address, and phone number. It's extremely, extremely important. And it matters about consistency. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. I'm going to talk about that. We've got to make sure that, because proximity plays, man, we need to make sure that Google absolutely understands where we are located and that we get consistency across all these things. So make sure that your NAP is correct. And you're going to get this deck, and I'm not going to read all this chicken scratch, but I think it's worthy of reading. You need to make sure that you have consistent NAP information. And what do I mean by that? So I'm going to show you NAP. Well, I'll show you on a different screen. I'm sorry, I'm going to go off into this next one. Let me back up. Nope, I'm going to show it on the screen after this. I should do it in the next screen, but oh well, I'll rearrange screens later. This NAP name, address, and phone number, those three things, the company name, the address of your company, and the phone number need to match everywhere Google sees it. And NAP needs to be listed, or NAP listings, your listings need to be in directories so Google can, in essence, kind of triangulate and verify that this is the right information. So where should I have the right NAP? First, on my own website. Second, local directories, industry specific, Info USA, local chambers of commerce, the BBB, Yelp, the list goes on. City Search, 411, Merchant Circle if it matters, Foursquare, Facebook location page. Can't stress that one enough. Facebook location page. But let me talk about consistency, because this is one that matters. And here's that. So here we have Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Just imagine this for a minute. And he's at 1234 Anywhere Street, Suite 102. It's someplace, Florida, 34788. All right. We wouldn't want a listing to look like this, Bob's HVAC. It's not the same company name, for crying out loud. And Google can't tell. I understand that HVAC is heating and air conditioning, but Google's not going to make certain that this is the same guy. Or the address being 1234 Anywhere Street, number 102, street being replaced with street spelled out. ST period is the one at the first address. And Suite 102, now I say street fully spelled out with number 102. We need to actually make sure the address is exactly the same everywhere. This is how Google see all these interconnected pieces and realize that they truly are interconnected. Otherwise, it might not be 100% sure, right? Is this all making sense? Yes? Ed Bob's?
Yes.
Thumbs
Yes.
up? Everything? Okay. So we've got to make sure that our NAP is good everywhere. So you need to go check the first things first. NAP's everything. So go check all of your directory listings. If you don't have directory listings, create some. Get listed on the Better Business Bureau. Get listed with your local chamber of commerce. Go out there and create a listing on City Search. Go out there and create a listing on Foursquare. Make sure that your location page in Facebook matches and has the same exact address and same company name, not some variant thereof. Exactly spelled the same, comma in the same place if you have one, period in the same place if you have one, like an LLC. Just make sure it's exactly the same. Consistency is key.
Hey, Ken,
Yes,
can I interrupt real quick?
you may.
I was going to wait till the end on this, but it seems really important to what you're talking about now. So, we used to have an office and putting our physical address was easy. Now we're in our house, and I think most of the people on this call work out of their homes.
Yep.
Do you suggest putting your home address? I mean, the chances of somebody actually coming here are slim to none, but
Yep.
there is that chance.
There's a chance that they would come to your home. That's a personal call. I mean, each person
Well,
has their own personal call.
what's better, putting an address? Because I'm competing against guys who do have an office.
Yeah, an address actually matters. You take a chance. In some places to have somebody say that's a residential address. It's not a real address, and marking you incorrectly. So here's what I would suggest that you do. In Google, I would not show your address, but I would give Google your address. I just would not show your address.
Okay.
Okay, you understand the setting there? And all of my other NAP listings, all of my other directory listings, I absolutely show my address. First of all, nobody's going to go to fucking Yelp. Excuse my language. Nobody's going to go to Yelp and look up an advertising agency. They're not. They're gonna do a search in Google, and your local listing will show up. But if Google can triangulate that your address you submitted is real, but you're just choosing not to show it, you follow what I'm saying? So they can match it up with all the other NAP listings. I think that would be the approach that I would take. Does that make sense to you?
So when you sign up for a Google My Business listing, you should give them your physical address, but then
Yes.
there's a box that says show your address and not show your address.
Yeah, don't display my address. Yep.
Don't display. And then if you don't display,
I would not show my address on my Google listing if I was concerned about people coming to my home.
hmm And what if you have reversed that in the past? Can you go back without getting gigged? And then,
And not show
Again-
your address now?
yes.
I believe you can, but I've got to tell you, I don't have a lot of call as a practitioner myself going in there and making the changes. I can't answer that question because I don't recall whether or not you can or can't. I
Okay.
think you can, but I haven't got a lot of people asking me to do that. So I have not gone and looked at that, to be transparent with you. I don't have very many businesses that would say to me, hey, don't show my address anymore. So I'm not sure. You need to look into that, but I think you might be able to go back and do it. I wouldn't be able. I don't think it's going to have a terrible impact on as far as gigging you. I think your risk of actually being tagged by somebody that's a bullshit. Excuse my language again. I'm just going to be real with you guys. That is a BS listing showing up in a residential neighborhood or insert whatever is higher than if I don't show my address.
Mhm.
And you'll find search results out there with no address on it. Now, understand that they're not going to give you the same proximity way. They can't,
Right.
right? Because
Thank
you're
you.
not sharing your proximity.
hmm
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Did I answer your question? Good. All right, so citations, what are they and why are they important? Citations simply point is any place on the internet that references your NAP. So and this is how Google makes all this connection. So how does it know who Bob's HVAC is or Bob's heating and air conditioning? Well, if Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning is mentioned by the local newspaper as Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning, they've got to zero in on that local newspaper, and they know where that local newspaper is located. They realize now that you've got enough NAP information out there that Bob's Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning is in that same area. They'll associate that citation. So a citation is just simply a mention of your name or address or whatever, and it rates your popularity a little bit. It rates your relevance a little bit more when you get mentioned in other places. But I don't have to have a link to my website. See, that's the thing that Google Local and GMB was trying to overcome, is so many businesses don't have a website. In fact, I can tell you tons of little restaurants that don't. And the only website they have is allmenus.com, who stole a picture of their menu and posted it up there. But their GMB will still come up as a Chinese restaurant. Their GMB will still come up as a pizza place. Why? Because they've been listed in all these other directories and whatnot, but the more popularity that they can pick off of NAP mentions. So if they get mentioned by somebody else. So those acknowledgments. But understand that when you get those acknowledgments by people, if you're out there pursuing those acknowledgments or listing, make sure it matches your NAP, right? That your business name is actually mentioned the same way. So if I was Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning, I wouldn't want the newspaper mentioning me as Bob's HVAC. Google couldn't make the connection. But if they mention my address or they mention my phone number, man, have I got a direct tie-in then. I've just gotten a citation for my business because my phone number was listed somewhere else. Does that make sense? That's what a citation is. We don't have to have a link to our website. We just have to have a mention. That's why NAP is so important, that Google can triangulate that, lock it in as ours, and then any other place that's mentioned, oh, they're talking about this person or they're talking about this business. So citations validate your business in the eyes of Google. It plays an important part of growing your authority and your popularity and all of that. Initial stuff for local SEO, and I'll try to blast through this. What time do I got? 1:47. Running out of time and we've got too many screens. So create the profile, verify your address, optimize your listing. There's tips, there's a link here. Relevance means mentioning in that listing keywords, mentioning and choosing the right classifications for your business. In most digital marketing, there isn't a digital marketing classification in Google My Business. Advertising agency is probably the best thing. However, there is one in there that I think is really cool. I think it's often overlooked and it's missed by agencies. Did you know that as a classification, because you can choose multiple classifications, there's one out there called content creator? And if you haven't got content creator, you should probably get it. If you're looking for other things to add to your categories to add to your GMB, content creator should be one. So you need to optimize. When we talk about that, the relevance, I'm not going to dig deep into the 250, 300 words that you get to describe your business, but you should do a good job of describing your business. And you should use keywords, but not overstuff it. You don't need to mention keyword more than one time like you do in a normal SEO effort. You just need to mention it once. Here is a little known one though. It is emerging. It is massive and local. And that's GMB posts. You need to be putting in, if you're not familiar with GMB posts, you need to be using GMB posts. You need to be doing at least once a week. They expire every 7 days. I wouldn't overdo it, but I definitely would do it. Make sure that you're doing it at least once a week. You should write about different keywords each week. And I'll give you 9 that you can roll with right here in the first 9 weeks. And let me tell you what these 9 keywords are and why these keywords are different than maybe other keywords. So each one of you, I don't know whether or not you have access to SEMrush or whatever, but I'll be more than glad to give you guys a pack of keyword research for this. So when you're in SEMrush, you can do a filter and for keywords that have the search feature local pack. You absolutely need to be pursuing keywords that have a local pack. There's no reason for me to worry about a keyword that comes up with a national result if I'm trying to get into that local pack. There's almost no reason for me to mention it. If I'm trying to get one that comes up in local though, remember when we looked at that listing a minute ago where we saw it was mentioned in the review, we saw that it was mentioned on the website. You can go through the hassle of making sure that you write optimized page and put the keyword on your website and get Google to connect the dots, or you can just go ahead and give Google directly and make a GMB post using the keyword. A GMB post using the keyword will immediately result. We will not have to wait days for Google to walk our website. We will have to wait minutes for Google to realize that the GMB post contains this phrase. And within minutes, we can start getting outside and breaking the algorithm boost between the 3. Remember proximity and proximity, relevance, and popularity. Maybe we don't have the popularity, maybe we don't have the proximity, but suddenly all of a sudden we have the relevance for this phrase. And it overpowers the relevance that anyone else of our competitors have used. So if Google doesn't recognize them being super relevant with that phrase, but they recognize you being super relevant with that phrase, then your relevance weight in the algorithm weighs a little bit more. GMB posts are a great way to get instant relevance on that phrase. A GMB post is what, 250 words? Maybe it's 250 words. It's not very long. Should you link it to your website? Yes, you should. If you have a relevant page on your website that already talks about that keyword, then link it to that page. But if you don't, at least link it into your homepage or link it to a portion of your website. Always put a GMB post up with that. The other thing that you need to do with a GMB post is you need to add a new image or several with every post. You must put images up with your posts. And then I'm going to give you one other little trick about images here in a second that you should be doing to your images as well. So
Thank-
consistency. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just a
please.
question for you. So I know that the posts disappear in 7 days.
Yep.
However, do the posts remain on your Google generated website?
Yeah, yes. Well, it's not
So-
a generated website, but yes, the posts remain out there. So I would not repeat posts if I don't have to. I would refresh keywords and rewrite about them, but I would always make them unique. The other thing is Google wants this to be unique content. They actually give pluses to it being unique content. You can copy and paste chunks of your website in there, but I would take your website, if you did a copy and paste, and do slight revisions and rewrites to it so that you get a starting point, but it really should be 100% unique.
Great, thank you.
That answer your question?
Yes?
All right, last statement here. Do this consistently every 7 days. Don't overdo it, but don't underdo it. Just do it every 7 days. Well, there are a couple of tools out there. I want to just let you know right now. There are a couple of tools out there. I'll let you do your own research, but there are a couple of tools out there that will let you automatically and schedule out posts for GMB. So you don't have to go in there and set a timer and a reminder. You can sit there and go ahead and schedule out the next month worth of posts and then go back and schedule out another month worth of posts. So you don't have to do this manually every 7 days, but you should have a post going up every 7 days. They expire every 7, but they stay there forever. But you should be doing it every 7 days. Make sense?
So doing it more than once every 7 days is bad or not?
I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say, though, that it's not necessarily necessary. And the other thing that I would say to you about GMB post frequency or cadence is the same as review cadence. You need to roll with a cadence you can maintain. So you don't want to suddenly go out there and do a bunch of bursts of posts and then stop posting, and you don't want to do them very infrequently. I would say get yourself into a pattern that you can consistently maintain. 7 days is easy to maintain. It matches their expiration date. You always have a post up. You're not overdoing it. You're not overwriting a post you just wrote. So it makes it simple. Just do it every 7. Much more than that, I don't think it's necessary. If you're in a restaurant business and you run specials every day, and you have a different special that you put up every day, by all means, you should post every day. And you should put your special that you have up that day. And you should go ahead and list that so that you show up in a search for chicken sandwich. You have a chance for showing up today on chicken sandwich. Does that make sense? Okay. GMB images, agencies. And this is just a thing about agencies. They seem that when you look at it, they seem to post a hell of a lot of images, a lot more than other industries do. And you should too. So you need to be posting images on a very frequent basis into your stuff compared to other industries. I don't know why. I recommend that you post 3 to 4 images a week. Maybe it's because agencies are visual. You should post 3 to 4 images in a week in addition to the ones that you're putting in with your posts. You should just add images. And here's this other thing. You should geotag your images. That's the other little trick. You should geotag your images in your posts, and you should geotag your images in your images that you put up. And there's the tool to do it. Tool.geo.imgr.com. It allows you to push an image up there, rewrite the EXIF tags on the images, and make it for your location. So it looks like the images were taken. The geotag on that image that you're pushing up is actually located where you are. This is maybe not as important in the agency space, but hyper important in a lot of our regular local customer space. So if I've got a car lot, I want the images of the cars to be shown that they were taken at that car lot. I don't want us to have images that are being shown taken somewhere else. There's argument and debate out there whether or not it really matters. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know that it's a major chunk of the algorithm, and I can't tell you that it is. But it also can tell you that it takes such little time, and Google is not going to penalize you for this because who the hell cares that it looks like it looks like the image got taken at this latitude, longitude, and it's been recorded into the inside of the image. I'm just going to tell you, we do it as a consistent thing for all of our Google local clients. We geotag your images. So I recommend it. I recommend that you do. So I'm making sense so far. GMB images is a choice thing, but I think you should show culture in addition to your location. So if you've got images that relate to your culture, having fun, doing cool things, do that. Missed relevance opportunities. Most people miss these. Q&As, review responses. see it all the time. I can show you I can show you a company here locally that just absolutely has their review system nailed down. So I'm going to do the search here. And it blows my mind every time I look at that. Moen's Air Conditioning. They have their review system nailed down. Look at this review count over here. It's 5 stars and there's over 4,207 reviews. That is just dominating in reviews. Dominating in reviews. And I've given them a review. I gave them a 5-star review because they did work for our office, and that's when I ran into how many reviews they had. But look at the response I got back. So I said we had Moen's come out, 11-year air conditionings in our office. They're fast, professional. Chris came to the house for a failed air conditioner module because they do my office and my home. He arrived, same day promise, blah, blah, blah. I mentioned a motor module for a train, right? You see that? So it's possible. I went ahead and did them a favor. I mentioned the brand in my review. What was their response? Thank you, Kim, for your business and your feedback. We appreciate you taking time to recognize our team member who assisted you. Have a blessed day. Look at the next one. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. We appreciate you taking time to recognize our team members who assisted you. Thank you for business and, oh wait, isn't that a copy and paste? And leave us an amazing review. Have a blessed day. Thank you, Jose, for sharing your experience. We appreciate your business and recommendation. Have a great, look, this is dumb. Here, this review right here is Sean and coworker, electrical technician, blah, 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 very professional, fantastic service, knowledgeable staff. Highly recommend Moen's. What do I see here? I see pictures that the owner submitted. Well, what pictures are they? Well, this one happens to be very clearly of a Carrier air conditioner. They submitted a picture of a Carrier. They also submitted a picture of the truck at their house. All right? These all have geotags on them, by the way, because when they were submitted by the reviewers, they showed it maybe have geotags if they were taking it from their cell phone. It's a really good chance they have. Isn't this a great opportunity for the owner to say thank you, Jose, for installing our new Carrier air conditioner? We're so glad to be helpful to you, and remember that we provide warranty service on your Carrier air conditioner for the next 3 years. We don't have to stuff keywords in there, but when I have an opportunity to use keywords in my response, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I coach my clients to as well? This is just terrible response. I mean, they've got 4,000 reviews, but they're underutilizing the reviews, the review response opportunities for relevance. Here we are, and they're pretty much saying the same thing. It's lazy, okay? 4,000, I got you. Why you're lazy? When you only have 21 of them, you don't have a chance to be lazy. If you only got 10, 15, 20 reviews, do not be lazy. 4,000, okay, maybe you can be lazy. But the reality is that you need to utilize the opportunity you have in review responses to mention keywords. Now, in the case of them, it's a brand name for an air conditioner, so they could come up for Trane air conditioner. They could come up for Carrier air conditioner. They could come up for Carrier warranty. They could come up for those things. But you guys could do graphic design, website development, search engine optimization, SEO, PPC, all of these phrases that you could just go ahead and drop in there because you're only given so much space in your listing to write stuff, and you're going to use the Google Post to write more stuff. Why not go ahead and get it into my reviews? We know that they suck that up to the front on the review. We just saw that. I showed it to you, right? So why not use our review responses to use keywords there? Don't stuff it. Make it look natural, but use them. Make sense? Missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity a lot of times, but it's missed because not a lot of people do it. But there are, in all the Google local places, there are Q&As, okay, questions and answers that are part of every list. I'm gonna look at my little mess around here and not be able to find it, but I'll be gay. Let me go there. I went to the pictures. And then
Isn't it down a little further where it
Yeah,
says submit a question?
and they're not using posts
That's
here, by
odd.
the way.
Where the hell is it?
Share the latest info if I know the place. That's me asking me for my 7-star, my 7 guy. Yeah, normally I see it. I'm going blind on it right now. Let's see if I can find it on another listing that I looked up earlier. Just a general one. Let's go through this way.
Hey, Ken, while you're doing that,
Yep.
quick question. In the postings, Can you put links going back to your website?
Yes, you can. You can link it to, through a button, you can link it to your website. You can link it to a specific page.
So kind of like, can you
Yeah, I'm going blind all of a sudden here. I know there's Q&As, I just can't find it. And I messed with people that, by the way, who have got Q&As that I can see or manhandle other own. I've messed with other agencies where I go, really, John, you ask and answer your own questions. So people can ask questions, submit a question about your business, and then you can answer them. Problem is it's really obvious when you ask and answer your own question. And Q&A may be degraded right now because of COVID. That may be what's going on here.
I think it is, Ken, because it's not showing up on my
Very well, and very
GMB
well
listing.
degraded because of COVID.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. They don't like it when you ask and answer your own questions. The system will allow you to do it, but I think it's a pretty lousy way of doing it. What you can do, though, and I don't have a problem, this is a little bit of a gaming of the system, and that is ask some friends to ask some questions. Give them the question when asked. Just go ask them to ask these questions. Do you offer web design services? Yeah. Yes, thank you, Bob, for your question. I do offer web design services in Orlando and the surrounding areas. Blah, 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 blah. Keyword answers. Don't just go, yes, we do. No, we don't. Give a little bit more of an extensive answer, and you can ask people to ask you questions. So I would do that. I wouldn't ask the same person to ask me 15 questions. Don't do that. Spread it around, spread the love. And by the way, pace and cadence matter. So, and you're gonna see that here in a minute when I talk about reviews. Pace and cadence matter. So don't go and get 15 people to ask you 15 questions this week and never ask another question again. Spread this out. One question here and an answer. One question here and an answer. And keep a pace that you can roll with. Maybe one a month. We don't need a ton in there. And it wouldn't look natural if there were a ton of questions anyway. It's not a feature that's heavily used. And remember that other people can answer the question too. Not just the business owner, but others can answer the question. So if you ask the question like, are you the best search engine optimist? And somebody else goes in and says, no, they're not the best. I think Bob's is the best or Jeff's is the best. Don't set yourself up for, are you the best at or whatever. Ask just general questions about the service you provide and then answer the questions about the service you provide using keywords. Does this all make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So last but not least, popularity. And we, this is the thing. Quantity and quality needs to be a constant hunt. You need to be asking your customers for them on a regular basis. You obviously, I highly recommend that you ask customers you feel comfortable are going to give you a good review, because getting a 1-star in there really sucks. And you need to request reviews from friends and family. That's okay. It's okay. I'd prefer you actually ask business acquaintances, but you could start yourself off with a couple from friends and family. But let's go ahead and mention that they are friends and family. It's okay to do that. Like I have employees who've written reviews on ours that says, I work there. I love working here. That's okay. Okay. Just be honest about it. Don't have somebody lie that says I've done business with them when they haven't. I'm not going to promote that. And I don't think that's a good idea. But what I'm saying, it's okay to ask for reviews from friends and family, but only for a few. You don't want your whole thing filled with that, right? And then the last thing, consistency. And this is about cadence. Do not get into a pace you can't keep. I've witnessed it, I've watched it, and I've watched it destroy GMBs. Okay, so I can tell you right now about, and without revealing any names, a bail bonds agent that is heavily dependent on GMB, by the way, heavily dependent. If he is in the GMB, he writes $5,000 in bonds, a week. If he's not in the GMB, even though he's first in the organic, right below the GMB, it drops to $300 or $400. It's ridiculous the volume difference that happened over being in the GMB or not being in the GMB for his business. So when he suddenly fell out of the GMB, what'd he do? He overreacted and he went out and got a lot of reviews, and he started just asking tons of people for reviews. And suddenly where I had a nice review pace, and I can go and look at it, and I could see that we had a nice review pace. We're getting 4 to 5 5-star reviews every month for the last several years. Suddenly I got 20 reviews. You think Google sees that as natural? It does not. It would see it as natural because at some point in time, Munn's Air Conditioning has 4,000 some odd reviews, suddenly started getting a shitload of reviews in a very fast pace. but they've maintained the pace. So now if they're getting 20 reviews a month, they're getting 20 reviews next month, and 20 reviews the month after that, and 20 reviews the month after that. And they've got a cadence in which they can maintain. If you are suddenly going to burst and show a bunch of reviews and then get no reviews, Google is going to be very suspect of those reviews and not give them the same quality rating as if you were consistently getting those reviews over and over and over and over again. So consistency is even better than overall quantity or bursts. Definitely don't do bursts. If you're going to ask friends and family, ask a couple, ask another, ask one this month, one next month, or two this month, whatever, and keep a pace that you can go. If you've got customers, be asking for the customers to give you reviews on a pace that you can maintain. Don't go get 15 reviews now. Go get 15 reviews over the course of however many period of time you can do it. Does that all make sense? That's my guy. That's my shtick, guys.
That was great, Ken. Thank you.